Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teaching Hour with me, Ambassador Wyatt. We have another lesson today. I'm coming from Mark 11, chapter 23. I'm going to read it from the King James Version. It reads, "For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says." I just read to you Mark 11 and 23. Now I know that this lesson it's not a repeat. It is, I actually have another lesson from Mark 11:23, but this lesson, we're going to learn something different out of Mark 11 and 23. And so when we look at Mark 11 and 23, I want you to pay attention to all of these underlined words. And the word is says or say. That's in Mark 11 and 23. So I'm going to read it again. Mark 11 and 23 reads, "For surely I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says." There's 4 says or say in this verse. Let me reveal something. The third says in this verse is different from the first 2 at the beginning of the verse. The 4th says is the same as the 3rd in this verse as well. But we are only going to focus on the 3rd says from this passage, which reads, "But believes that those things he says will be done." That is the 3rd says in this verse. The 3rd word says, S-A-Y-S, in this verse, translated from the Greek, is the word lile. Lile. It means to talk or hold a conversation, to mention, to make an announcement, and that is the definition. Now, let's go over all the says in this verse so that you can understand a better way to understand why, or this 3rd word says. The first one is I say. This is Jesus speaking. The second one is say. This means repeating what Jesus says. The 3rd one is says. This is telling us to talk or hold a conversation with, to make a declaration, to make an announcement, and to make mention. But before the 3rd word says in this, before the 3rd word, before the 3rd word in this verse, Jesus says, don't doubt in your heart, but believe. So before he says, the word says for the third time, he tells us don't doubt in our heart, but believe. Right here, Jesus tells us how we are to believe. And it is by what he says. Right here, Jesus tells us how we cannot doubt in our heart, but believe. And when he tells us how to believe, he tells us it's by what he says. We believe by what he says. So again, the third word says in this verse means to talk, to have a conversation, make an announcement, or make mention. The idea is how you know you believe what you said is you will talk about it. Jesus says how you know you believe, you will talk about it. You will have a conversation with somebody about it. And you will also make mention of it. When you do this, it is going to happen and be granted to you. But here's an FYI. Only say what Christ Jesus say. Only say what Christ Jesus have to say to you. So when Jesus tells us from Mark 11:23 about all this word speaking, he's speaking, that he tells you to repeat what I'm saying. And how you know you believe is when you have a conversation with somebody about it, or when you speak about it. Let me give you this example real quick. I've been praying over the city that I live in. And the only reason why I've been praying, because I've been hearing God tell me to pray over my city, and whatever I hear him say, I repeat it. So not only I repeat it, I start talking to people, like I let them know, well, my city is getting ready to boost up their finances. My city is getting ready to boost up things for children. So I have conversations about the things which I heard the Lord tells me to pray over. That's how we know we believe. When we begin to speak those things, not just in prayer, but believing that those things already done came to pass because we are having a conversation about it. Now, this is so interesting because Jesus tells us, or right here, he's letting us know how we know we believe what we saying shall come to pass. So don't stop speaking those things that you want to happen according to Christ Jesus' word, and have a conversation about it. Because he says, but believes. It's got that word S. It means to continue to believe. And how you continue to believe, you have conversations about it. You make mention about it. So listen, this concludes our lesson from Mark chapter 11, verse 23. I am Ambassador Wyatt. This is teaching hour. This is teaching hour. I am Ambassador Wyatt. And remember, Jesus is Lord. Until next time.